Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 6. So we are less than a month, less than 4 weeks away from the start of the newest season of the Arrowverse DC TV shows, of course that including The Flash. And as some of you would have already seen, well, as most of you probably have seen, or would have seen, the promo images, trailers and other various teasers have started dropping at a consistent rate. And that is usually when you get the feel that the show's almost back, you get a bit more excited and the hype starts to build a bit more, because they're going to hit our screens and, hopefully please our eyeballs and brains, very, very soon. Now, I will remind everyone when we get closer to the release dates for the shows, but the shows are starting in a sort of scattered sort of way, whether that be at different times from last season, or some shows starting a week before another, or they're just on different days. But yeah, I will bring that up in more detail closer to the start of all the shows in the next, handful of weeks. But in this video, we are going over one main topic, as you should be able to tell by the title of the video, as well as some smaller tidbits that have come out. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know all of your various opinions in the comment section down below. I'm interested to see what you guys have to say, especially about the main topic, because I'm sure people will be maybe divisive on it, not too sure. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, it would be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support and excitement and all of that stuff. So to start off the video, we have some Gideon-centric stuff to talk about, which is, fairly random, but as you can tell by the title, it's what we're talking about. I didn't think I would be talking about Gideon in any sort of focused, way in this break between season 5 and 6, but well, here we are. So Morena Baccarin, who you may recognize from Gotham, V, Homeland, or even, Deadpool, mainly I guess Deadpool, is the voice of Gideon on The Flash. She has been the voice of Gideon since season 1, and whenever Gideon has had to say anything new or anything like that on The Flash, she has voiced the character. Now, she did post this video on Twitter over the past several days. It's just her in the recording studio, or whatever you want to call it. Obviously recording lines for The Flash. Now, this doesn't hint at a certain scene or episode in particular, because we don't know what, lines she was recording. She doesn't need to record them before the episode because the actors don't need her to play off. They'll just know what Gideon says and they just say their lines and stuff like that. We just know that she is recording more and might have a big enough screen or voice presence in this season to the point where Morena would feel the need to post this and in turn, I guess, sort of promote the show and her role a bit. Now, we already know, I'm sure everyone already knows, that season 6 starts 10 seconds or something after season 5 ends, and that time vault, the time vault, will play a role in the first episode, which in turn would obviously involve Gideon. And throughout the early points of this season, where presumably information from Gideon might be needed, not all the time, but at certain points, we will get more scenes with her with new audio recorded. But one thing that many people are wondering, which has been a topic that has been brought up for seasons, not just since this video was posted, but for years, I'm sure you guys have heard it before, and that is whether we will actually get to see Barry create Gideon, and if he does, is he influenced by the Gideon that Reverse Flash brought back? How will it work and how will it make sense properly? Because it could be one of those chicken and the egg scenarios and be a bit confusing, especially if it isn't handled or written that well. But Todd Helbing isn't in control of the show anymore, so it actually might be written well this time around. But I have a feeling, and I'm sure some of you might agree with me with this. I'm not too sure if you will, but you might when I say this. But I have a feeling that this season on The Flash, they are going to sort of tie up anything connected to the future. And with this, would be that version of Gideon in the Time Vault, as well as a plethora of other things, which I'm sure we could all list easily off the top of our heads. It's that much stuff that's connected to the future or has played a part from the future, like the goddamn suit. But anyway, forget about that for now. But, different things from the future will try to be written out or at least tied up. And with this moving forward, we can see Barry as well as the rest of Team Flash set up their own future rather than us visiting or reliving a future that has already happened, if you know what I mean. And with this could be Barry creating Gideon. Obviously, we have no real idea what the effect of Crisis will have on The Flash, as well as all the other shows, but mainly The Flash, and what is known and unknown when that happens. That would just be something that we have to wait and find out, I guess. But yeah, I think tying up all that future stuff will be something they do this season, whether it's, at Crisis or right at the end of the season. The back half of this season, post-Crisis, could be this completely different thing, where, all that stuff is tied up and we don't really reference it anymore. Who knows? But Grant Gustin has talked about, I guess tying up the whole Reverse Flash story for good this season and moving on from that character. I've gone over that quote in the past, but it's basically Reverse Flash best villain that the show's had, great villain, just great character in general. But, you know, you can only revisit something so much, and maybe it's time for the show to move on from that character. That's basically like paraphrasing what Grant said. And that could be hinting at maybe what the show is planning to do, like tying everything up from the future so they can just move on with present day stuff. And if there is any sort of timey-wimey stuff, it's in the past, not the future. But yeah, that whole Reverse Flash stuff could maybe be a big, like major part of tying up that future. We know that Wally West is meant to be back, so maybe he plays into that, you know, against Reverse Flash, who knows. Now with Gideon, a lot of people have asked me when I posted I tweeted out that Miranda Baccarin video, and everyone was going, oh, well, does she voice Gideon on Legends? There are two different versions of Gideon, there's multiple versions of Gideon. They explain that on Legends of Tomorrow, like Gideon can have all these different voices. And it's different, like it's a different stuff. I'm trying to explain it off the top of my head, but it's just different. There's multiple versions of Gideon with different voices and stuff. So there's a version of Gideon on Legends, which has a different voice actor, and then there's a version on Flash, which is Miranda Baccarin. So yeah, there's two versions of Gideon that we interact with regularly in the Arrowverse, but there's multiple out there. But going back to some stuff that I talked about a couple of days ago, which was about John Wesley's ship being back for the Flash this season, but also in regards to what we go over right now, specifically Crisis. Now, apparently, this isn't confirmed. There wasn't like any video evidence or anything like this, but multiple people have said this because they asked him at the exact same convention what was going on with Crisis. They asked him like if he was going to be in Crisis, and like varying questions similar to that. And to multiple people, he said he was going to be in Crisis Episode 2. Whether that means he first appears there or that's the only episode he's in, unsure. He was pretty vague. But the second episode of Crisis is the Batwoman episode. So the first episode is Supergirl, then it's Batwoman, then it's The Flash, then we go on the break and we come back for that 2-hour finale, I guess you could say, with the Arrow and Legends episode. So the second episode is Batwoman, so it seems that's when he's going to be there. He didn't say what character. That's just when he said he would be there. Now, I have heard from someone I know that talked to a crew member on The Flash that they're starting their Crisis episode in around 2 weeks. Now, they have just, I think today, or in the past couple of days, I'm not really sure when this video is actually going to go up, but they just finished, or they're about to finish the Danielle Panabaker episode, which is episode 6. So if that, say they do like 7 or 8 days of filming for episode 7 and 8, that means it should be episode 9 for The Flash, that is Crisis, if it's in about 2 weeks. So, you know, that's pretty exciting that we could actually start to get some like Crisis set photos or just Crisis information in general, or more casting information for Crisis. We are expecting that they're just going to film Crisis in one big thing. Like, you know, it's going to jump from show to show like the normal crossovers do. But it will be interesting to see like how it's handled, and I guess how much we get to see filmed, just to give us little teasers and stuff like that. But that's what just been told, so take that with you and enjoy your breakfast. What the hell was that? Anyway, let's go on. But speaking of The Flash and filming, they were actually filming at this theater, or like an Orpheum theater, I think that's what it was called or something. They were in suits, like Grant Gustin and Hartley Sawyer, I think, were both seen in suits going into this building, as if it's like an upper class event. Now, it's like a theater. Now, this theater is the same one from those Supergirl episode 1 promo images that some of you guys might have seen. So it's the exact same theater. They're using it again. I think we've seen it before in the past as well in other episodes and other shows. But it seems like they might be going, like a play or an opera or something like that. I'm interested to see what they doing here, because they were filming for like 3 days here, so a lot of stuff must go on within this theater thing. So have to wait and see. I did see some like Instagram accounts saying it was like a flashback scene to the wedding, and I was like, they didn't do the wedding in a goddamn theater. I'm pretty sure the wedding was in a church. I think we all remember that, so I don't know what they were going on about, but yeah, let's move on. And the last thing I do want to go over is actually a quote from the Supergirl showrunner, because it actually has something to do with Crisis again. And I'll just go through it. I'll just read it out. There's no point G'ing it up anymore. Let's just go through it. We're teeing up Crisis in our way, which is a little bit different from the way Arrow and the Flash are doing it, but it's all interconnected, and the Monitor will be a part of that storytelling. In general, it has more impact than our crossovers usually do. It filters into the rest of our season, where normally the crossovers are standalone. The world will be shaken up, and there will be fallout post-Crisis. Now, there were some people, like it was just like a general thought after this comment was put out there about like, is he talking about like the Earth's merging and stuff like that? I don't know. I'm interested to see what you guys, do you think the Earths are actually going to probably merge? I think they should. I think it's just going to make it a cleaner thing going forward. It'd be weird if like multiple Earths are destroyed and just like, luckily Earth 38 and Earth 1 and Earth 2 and stuff survive. And there's only like, you know, a handful of Earths that survive, and they're casual, like, or luckily the ones that we interact with the most. So I think we should just make one big prime Earth. I think that's the best way to go about it, but I don't know, we'll have to wait and see what goes there, but those comments are interesting by the Supergirl showrunner. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it. It shows support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions on what we went over and all that. Leave them in the comments section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.